Crusaders as well. You saw Blake Schropnagel, one of the leading rushers in the state in the last game. You're going to see another good one tonight. Colton Brunell has put up some eye-popping numbers. Bob and Scott will tell you all about it here shortly.
Division IV state championship. Let's head it to the booth. Bob Brainerd, Scott Nelson. Guys?
Yeah, here to tell you all about it. Yeah, undefeated, and both teams, Nelly, deserve to be here. Columbus has done a great job. Catholic Memorial, as always, coming back here to Madison. The buzz you get around Camp Randall, though, is that everybody's saying, I think this will be a really good football game, and I would agree.
Yeah, I think you got two teams that have fought and scratched all season long, right? Catholic Memorial has a history and tradition. Columbus has been here before a number of years ago to win a state title. They're back in a rematch from last year, I think it was at round 4. So these are two teams that are going to battle at each other.
And you're going to see a battle between two all-state running backs. They both have horses in the backfield. Starting with Corey Smith, the numbers are low, but that's only because, Nelly, he gets pulled at halftime. The team has already won the football game.
Well, you heard the scoring discrepancy, right, throughout the course of the season. This guy's a talented back. He's quick. He's shifty. He's not super big, but, man, is he explosive.
And Colton Brunell. Now you want to see what the numbers look like when you play a And again, Smith and a lot of the starters, they don't see the field in the second half. Tonight, they'll play the full.
Yeah, I think the one thing that was really good for them in level 4, they won 20-14 over Two Rivers, so they were in a ball game at that point. So they know how to go start to finish. When most have probably played only half the game, this is one that's going to be full strength the whole way.
Good receivers as well. Besides Smith in the backfield, you got weapons there for Isaiah Nathaniel. At the controls here in the first give to Smith, runs into a wall, not much there. 3-4 defense up front. They give up an average of just over 9 a game. It's stingy, and Brunell in there on the tackle. As you look at the defensive side, Nelly, you mentioned it, Colton going both ways.
Yeah, opportunistic, right? Number of guys with multiple interceptions on the year, and they're going to have to come up with turnovers today to make it a game.
Second down and 9. Give it to Smith. Didn't fool anybody on that Cardinals side. Push him back for a loss. Sullivan in there along with a bunch of red shirts. 3rd and long for the Crusaders.
Right now, everybody's fresh, right? The motor's running, the adrenaline's flowing right now. And on that particular play, Jamison Sullivan does a great job of hitting the gap, shutting a blocker, and bringing him down the backfield. He got a little help from his buddy, number 21, Brunell.
Nathaniel here on 3rd down and 11. Pulls it in, plenty of time. Toss, and no catch. Intended over there for Bennett McCormick. Pass was a little short trying to get to Bennett, so it brings up 4th down.
Yeah, so here what the guys have to do is understand the confines of Camp Randall. Your vision is a little bit differently. We've seen the wind pick up. The flags are moving a little bit more. And so you got to get into your surroundings and understand what's coming at you. At the same time, you see a defense from Columbus that's being very aggressive. And at the same time, you got to find a way to make plays.
Jimmy Sheehan on the punt. Riley Knockreiner is back to field. And fair catch called for, made at the 35-yard line. And the Cardinals, good start for them. They get Catholic Memorial to go 3 and out. And their offense takes the field with Nathan Cotter, the quarterback, Brunell in the backfield. And then you got Knockreiners at the receivers,
right.
Braxton and Riley.
I think it's been a great way for them to start Colton Brunell at the running back position, but also got himself acclimated to this game early with some defensive stops. We're going to have to look for Cotter to make some plays in the throwing game because I know they're going to focus on Brunell.
Yeah, Cotter's thrown for 25 touchdowns, only 4 picks on the season. 1st and 10 from the 35. You give it to Brunell, first carry. He bounces. He continues to turn the legs. All the way out to the 44-yard line goes Brunell on his first carry.
Again, establishing some strength at the line of scrimmage, right? Watching these guys get out, block, and stay engaged. That's the one thing that offensive linemen sometimes forget to do. You got a guy and you just kind of push him off. Columbus moves their feet. They're very well coached, which allows your running back to hit some gaps. Your quarterback, it'll buy some time in the passing game.
8 of 9, 2nd and 1 for the Cards. Cotter, tuck it to Brunell, and he gets stopped short of where he needed to go. Engulfed there by the Crusaders. A bunch of them were there, including number 50, Carl Peavy, the nose guard.
Nose guard, I think number 78, Martell Harris was in there. Harris is 6'3", 365. He's just a sophomore, but this is an opportunistic defense, right? They are aggressive, they're strong, they're physical up front. The battle in the trenches tonight is going to make or break either team.
Nicolosi, you see him, the linebacker up top. He's their leading tackler at CMH, over 100 on the season. 3rd down and inches. Back to Brunell. And plenty as he makes his way close to midfield. 1st down for Columbus.
Moving the chains again, controlling the clock, being comfortable in what got you here. The run game and running Brunell time and time again. He's a force, right? He is the workhorse of this team. And if they can continue to wind some clock, they just continue to chunk out yards, get 1st downs, and keep that potent Catholic Memorial offense off the field, things are sitting pretty well for them.
First set of downs here at the 49-yard line. Brunell now shifts to flank Cotter, and then Cotter keeps it himself. Not a good idea. Bunch of Crusaders there. Tyree Harper was in on the tackle along with Keith Williams.
Yeah, trying to do a little misdirection, right, with your running back, and everybody focuses on him. Those interior guys were not having it. No handoff. 3 players ready to pursue, and Crusader defense very well coached, right? They understand what's expected and down a distance. They understand what's expected on their play call, and they execute it very well.
And Nelly, you mentioned Martell Harris, 6'3", 365, a mammoth presence in the middle. What he did is he clogged it up so the other 2 could get there for the tackle. 2nd down and 12. Cotter to throw. And ball batted away. Nicely done by Josh Oxner. A long line of Oxners that have played in the secondary at CMH. His brothers, Nelly, Joe, Mike, Alex, all played safety, and now he's a heck of a safety as well.
Well, trying to just get a little comeback run down the hash. Tremendous job of not grabbing the receiver, taking his left hand, reaching in front for the pass breakup. Really heads up play, trying to force it in where there's pressure, and defense comes up with a stop.
I was told he's the last of the Oxners, so a run of 4. And by the way, his 3 brothers before him, they all won state titles at Catholic Memorial. He's trying to do the same. 3rd down and 12 here, empty backfield for Columbus. Cotter with time. It breaks down. Penalty marker is down. Boy, he had all the time in the world, and all of a sudden, here come the white jerseys.
I think we're going to get a hold off on the offensive line off the edge.
And it won't matter. Correct, and so they'll take the sack and force the punt.
Coming off the left edge, you're going to see Hole just grabbed him, wrapped him up, and he's still able to break out of there. But holy cow, that's one, again, hand position and looking at your aiming point, right? Making sure you hit your aiming point tonight. Use your feet to drive guys, not grab and try and pull them out of the way. But you really got to engage with this defensive line because they're very well coached and they are aggressive.
Braxton Knock-Reiner on the boot. Pretty good one here. All the way back to the 19-yard line. That's Marvanus Butler. And Butler still on his feet. Finally banged out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So the Butler did it. Didn't take it to the house, but setting up the offense in good shape here in quarter number 1. No score here in D5 so far. Nelly mentioned it. Crusaders and Cardinals met last year in level 4 to get the state. Catholic Memorial won the game, Nelly, 42-19. But at the half, it was only 20-13. And Andrew Selgrade, the head coach of Columbus, said, we hung with them. We were in the game until the third quarter, and then it got out of hand. But he admitted, last year, we were starstruck. This year, they aren't. As Smith gets the carry here, lunging forward to the 41-yard line. And I think that's big. Sometimes you have programs like a Catholic Memorial, like a Springs, like an Edgar, and you can see him come out of the tunnel and go, oh boy, we're done.
Yeah, and we saw that for a number of years with Kimberly, who we'll see tomorrow in action in the D1 championship. Yeah, sometimes there's teams that just come out and there's a presence about them, right? At least Columbus has experienced that. They stalemated them on the first drive. See what they can do here in the second drive, but it's a feeling out process early in this game.
2nd and 7. Smith. You can see how powerful he is. He's got the speed, but then also not afraid to go right into the pile now.
Yeah, I think he likes to get in the mix there and use that explosive. You'll see him lunge forward a little bit and like shoot out of a cannon just because of the strength in his legs. Again, he's only 180 pounds, but he packs a punch, and when he gets out to go, look out.
3rd and 5. Play comes in from the sideline. Nick Vitale is the offensive coordinator of this Catholic Memorial squad. Nathaniel breaks it down. Smith in motion. All kinds of time. Going for Smith. He's got him. Big pickup. Isaiah Nathaniel to Corey Smith. You saw him flank out and head down the field, deal with that speed.
Number 5, Ty Cowell, the safety on there, gets crossed up with his feet, trips up a little bit, so he looks more open than what he really is. Now you just got to run and recover. If that leads him down the field a little bit more, that's probably 6.
They go quick, they go no huddle, and Smith into the line. It's a 34-yard pickup. Smith through the air. Yeah, this offense, Nelly, that makes it even tougher to diagnose. They're a spread, no huddle offense. And so you're playing defense. You have no time to take a breather. You might not have time to substitute. 2nd and 11 here. Smith, stiff arm, and then thrown down. Big time play, Colton Brunell on the defensive side.
Well, running back on running back, or in this case, running back on linebacker. Tremendous job by Brunell getting out there. You see the speed, like Catholic Memorial has speed around. Columbus is going to need their playmakers to rise up and do exactly what Brunell did right there. They've stuffed him in the middle. They went outside, tried to get that. Brunell scrapes across, makes a nice tackle. Again, this is some tough sledding either way. Columbus needs to limit those big plays. If they can do that, they're probably going to be fine against this offense.
They bring up 3rd and 16 for the Crusaders. Nathaniel, right up the middle. He gets some of those yards back. Still a long way to go here on 4th down at the 21-yard line.
I'm just looking at the flags on top of the goalpost. It looks like one end is blowing one way, the south end is blowing the other way. I'm not surprised that Catholic Memorial is trying to go for it here at the 21-yard line.
Yep. Special team stays on the sidelines. 4th down and 8. Trying to draw him off. Nathaniel, flushed, fires, and incomplete. Intended for Keith Williams. Good coverage, stride for stride, was Riley Knockreiner. And Catholic Memorial turns it over on downs. The big play, Cardinals surrender it. They bend but don't break and get the football back. Good pieces to that drive by Catholic Memorial, but an empty trip. And so now, for the second time, the offense takes the field for the Columbus Cardinals. Andrew Selgrade is the head coach. His dad, Ott Selgrade. Yep, Andrew's father is the offensive coordinator, keeping it all in the family. Brunel, shifty. And 10 plus on that carry on first down all the way to the 35.
Just watching a lot of the red jerseys get out in space. And again, we talked about this multiple times, right, throughout the course of the games that we see and we watch in high school. Columbus isn't delivering big punishing blocks. They're just getting in the way, knowing that Brunel can set up a block, bounce to the outside when he needs to, cut up in the middle when he needs to. He just does a tremendous job of being patient and allowing his guys to work out in front.
His coach says he's an absolute stud. Numbers prove that out. 1st and 10. Brunel bouncing, and big wall of Crusaders there to greet him. Pick a jersey number. They were all involved, including Williams. Saw Keith. They tried to get him free in the end zone. He's that H-back on offense. Nelly, sometimes he's at fullback, sometimes lines up as a tight end. They tried to squirm him out and sneak him into the end zone.
Yeah, and you got to try and find a mismatch. If you get him on a linebacker, that's fine. That last play, he was on a defensive back that's much better at coverage. So it's all about personnel and situations and the right play call at the right time.
2nd and 10 Cards. Cotter into the belly of Brunel, had to stretch to get it there. And then Colt, good run for a gain of 7, brings up 3rd and 3.
We get a chance to replay here. Number 22, Braxton Knockreiner, does a really good job off the left edge here, just coming back with almost what a crack block is on number 8. It's not a crack block because the guy sees him, but it sets it up for allow Brunel to turn the corner there. So again, not big blocks, but just enough to spring him free.
The big pickup there makes this 3rd down manageable for Columbus. 3rd and 3. Brunel dotting the I behind Cotter. Gets the carry. And one final push there. Got him up and over the 45-yard line. Here's a great compliment from his head coach, Andrew Selgrade. Now, Selgrade used to coach and is a former player at St. Mary Springs. He said about Brunel that his vision and how he sees what's going on in front of him is as good as Braylon Allen, who of course played at Springs. Not comparing the two backs, but just the vision and the discipline he has with the blocking up front.
Well, it's being patient, it's understanding the guys up front, and it's knowing and recognizing the defense of where those guys are going to go so you can set things up much easier, and so your vision expands as you trust the guys in front of you.
Well, again, nope, this time Cotter keeps it. Oh, fooled everybody, including me. All the way down to the 32-yard line of Catholic Memorial. Got a Cardinal dinged up back at the line of scrimmage, but Nelly, well, they were all sucking in thinking Brunel would get the carry.
Yeah, so all on this play, it's an RPO option, so he's got a chance. Sometimes they call a pass. This particular time, he's reading the defensive end who crashes down against Brunel. He pulls it. At that time, Cotter does a great job of reading that as the defensive end crashes down, and it's clear sailing around the edge.
21-yard pickup into Catholic Memorial territory at the 34. So Cotter get them to bite on another Brunel. And They're going to call timeout here. And one of their players was nicked up, and so they were a little slow getting back to the line of scrimmage down the field. Andrew Selgrade, his second season as the head coach at Columbus. He was an assistant at Fond du Lac for 10 years. And again, I mentioned he coached and played at St. Mary's Springs. So I talked to him about that, saying, look, when you played, you were one of those teams that teams feared. And he said, yeah, I'll admit it. We were a little starstruck when we played CMH last year in level 4. But his guys, they wanted another opportunity to show how much they have grown up this season. They get another shot at CMH.
Well, a number of guys that came back from that team last year, too, that are hungry for this, right? And so you do a tremendous job in coaching your team undefeated throughout the season. This one is really about your players. Just getting them prepared, giving them a game plan, making sure you install things that they're comfortable with, that they're going to trust what you're calling. And then it's a matter of them going out to execute against a really good Catholic Memorial team.
First and 10 to 34. Low snap. Cotter reels it in. Brunel right up the gut. Shot out of a cannon and still a burst downfield to the 16-yard line. So you go back to the bread and butter, and it works.
Up until this point, the Crusader defense has stuffed those runs up the middle. This is an outstanding job of pushing and creating a wall, allowing Brunel just to work. And then you see this ability to stop, plant, get outside, and then stick his foot in the ground again and go north and south. Again, the vision you just mentioned, right? But it all starts up front with those guys getting a push on the defensive line, which they hadn't had up until this point. And then Brunel just capitalizing on what he gets.
Yeah, he reads blocks. He understands what his line in front is doing. First and 10 at the 16. Go back to Brunel. Burst off the right side. Inside the 10 to the 9.
Trying to find mismatches the way the formations are and setting things up. The coaching staff upstairs in the press box is looking down the field, charting things. They're talking to the coaches on the field. That time it looked to me like the Crusader defense was shifted to the left of the offense for Columbus. And they ran right. So they got outnumbered, and it created some gaps for Brunel to shoot through.
Brunel 9 carries, 63 yards. And trying to carry the mail into the end zone and hope that his Cardinals can strike first here. Go back to him. Careens his way to the 6-yard line. Close to a first down.
A little more balanced defensively against the offensive formation that time, and better result for Catholic Memorial, but they're a yard short. So here, maybe half a yard even at that point, right? That Columbus has to stay hungry here. They got to continue to attack. They're getting some push on the offensive line, or they're sealing guys off. They're just working outside the guard, a little bit off tackle, where they're finding some success.
4 seniors and the center's a junior, so an experienced offensive line for Columbus. Third down and less than a yard here. It's Cotter keeping it. Cotter, first down, and then cut down the 3-yard line, but the damage done. First and goal, Columbus.
When you've got a threat like Colton Brunel, right? Anytime you fake that to him, defense crashes down. Again, he's reading that end. He goes to Brunel, and then Cotter's able to take it, and he knows what he needs for a first down. Trying to get the touchdown, but got the first down at the 3-yard line. First and goal for Columbus as we wrap up the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they'll walk down to the other end of the football field here at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. Cotter and the Cards knocking on the door to start quarter number 2. 2022 WIAA State Football Championships brought to you by Cousin Subs. We believe in better. And by Cobussin Buses, now hiring school bus drivers. Family pride in every ride. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Scoreless first quarter. But that is about to change perhaps if Columbus can punch this in. First and goal for the Cards at the 3. And Cotter moving the pieces around here, wants his guys to huddle up.
Yeah, they're calling timeout here.
Timeout. Columbus. The second of the half.
Well, that's odd coming out of a quarter break where you have time. Hall of Fame coach Al Minard joining us from down below. Al, even though they haven't punched it in yet, this has been a heck of a drive by the Cardinals.
No question. I think one of the biggest concerns if you're Columbus is just the confidence factor and the Catholic Memorial mystique. You know, are we going to be able to hang with these guys? You know, type of thing. And so this has been huge confidence boost. First of all, 3 and out, stop them again, bow up defensively, and now to have this march where they're really have their running game that they like. Brunell's made some good runs, and the quarterback has had some good runs. So I got to be pleased with the way the O-line is blocking this front right now, but you got to finish the deal.
And that's why that timeout was crucial. They don't want to mess it up here on 1st and goal from the 3. Cotter, shotgun, Brunell behind him. Give it a Colt. Touchdown, Cardinals! His 42nd, that's not a typo, 42nd rushing touchdown of the year. They get close, Nelly, and they know where they're going.
I really like the play call, right? They bring 2 guys behind off the right-hand side, extra blockers, and it's just blocked by committee, student body right, and Brunell is able to finish the deal. But a really good job of getting guys on the ground, guys getting tripped up defensively. The offensive linemen just continue to drive, and that surge off the right side was impressive.
Right, and it wasn't just like come right at him. It was like a little outside zone, stretch play. Very good.
Corbin Hines, the PAT, he leads the state in PATs. When you score a bunch, when your offense is a juggernaut, you get a lot of PAT tries. So it's Columbus leading it 7-0. And Al, the numbers here on that drive. Brunell carried it 8 times, Cotter twice. They just said, look, bread and butter, we're running the football, try and stop them.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, that has to be a huge confidence boost to the Columbus, you know, sideline and everything that, okay, everything that we've done all year is working. And so, you know, now the interesting thing will be what's the Catholic Memorial response?
Here you see the scoring drive. 10 plays, 79 yards, a little over 4 minutes to put the Cardinals on the board first. Al, thanks. We'll check back with you, easy for me to say, later on in the quarter.
Sounds good.
Hines will boot it away here. Again, dangerous kick returners in Josh Bailey and Corey Smith.
I think the coach's point here after the kickoff, right, depends on the type of field position they get. Do they get a really good return, and can that establish some momentum for the Crusaders?
They won't let one of those return guys get their hands on it. One of the up men taking it to 30, close to the 40. That's Ed Jones, who's a D back. Oh, there's your field position, Nelly. Good for CMH at the 39.
Obviously, Columbus is trying not to kick to those guys deep in the back end because of the explosiveness that they have, and that's part of the game plan, right? We're going to kick short. We're going to cover down. We don't have to cover as far. Then we got to wrap up and make tackles. Here's the response that the coach was talking about. What are they going to come out with? How are they going to execute? Can this Columbus defense get us another stop and maintain and contain that momentum? Can they contain Corey Smith, who we've seen infrequently in different positions? I watched him in warm-ups. He's had sometimes even taken direct snaps. So how do they mix things up offensively?
Well, they give it off to him here, and he runs into a wall of red jerseys. First one to greet him.
Looked to me like number 50, R.J. Gross, who one of the defensive linemen, got upfield, forced him back inside where all the pursuit was coming from.
And 16, Nelly, Milani Aragon, their leading tackler, all-state kid. You knew he'd be around the football. He always is. And Holt
got a false start. Yep.
MJ Mitchell is the quarterback. There he is. Now, this is not a surprise. You're going to see MJ. He's only a sophomore.
Second down.
Mitchell he's the guy that can come in, do a zone read. He's more of the running quarterback, so it's kind of that two-headed monster, Nelly, with Nathaniel, and Mitchell.
Yeah, and it makes a defense prepare in different ways, right? So they can throw a lot of different things at you from that standpoint. So it's all about personnel, recognizing that defensively and having different plays that you can run against guys. Somebody has to spy him as a quarterback, and typically that's a linebacker.
Nathaniel back in there, drops back to pass over the middle, hits one of his linemen. There's a lot of traffic there. I think it was intended for Jimmy Sheehan over the middle, but nothing doing, broken up, second down and long.
It looked to me like number 66, Brady Engel, broke through there, and that forced a quick pass. Doesn't allow your receiver to come down and hit the middle screen. So really good job of recognizing that, hands up, and he has nothing to do but throw the football away.
Yeah, Jamison Sullivan and Colin Selk, who's an all-state defensive end up front, they get the headlines. But Brady Engel, he's one of those guys that if you double team the other two guys, I'll make you pay.
Right. And you need guys like that. They play off each other really well, and that's one thing that makes this Columbus defense so good.
Here you see Brady, smart player, good technique, says his coach. Good burst there to disrupt things.
When he's long at 6'3", so he can take that first step and shoot in that gap where it's really hard sometimes for offensive linemen to cover down that way.
3rd and 16 for Memorial. Nathaniel flushed on the run. Overshoots his target. That's Josh Bailey. And Bailey shaken up. He hit the ground hard trying to climb the ladder and pull that football down.
Well, trying to split the seam there in Williams in between Braxton Knockreiner and number 22, number 23, Eckerd. He's putting it in the spot where the receiver can get it, but it's on the bullet or throws a bullet that way. It comes down really hard on his back on this hard turf.
Yeah, trying to avoid. Saw him hit hard, but he popped up quickly. Good to see.
Gave him that read option, right? And if they didn't, he did the right thing. But I think the coaching staff will look back at that and just remind him, hey, we want our workhorse to work, right? We want him to go to town, but you got to be smart with this, where if you can pull that and get 5-6 yards, we're better off that way.
Peavy was the first to get there for CMH and slow him down, then finished off by his teammates. 3rd and long here for Columbus. 3rd and a long 6. Cotter slings it. Catch is made. And right at the marker, making the catch, that's Braxton Knockreiner. Move the chains, first down, Columbus.
Really good job protecting up front, trying to weave through traffic, and then he throws a bullet at him. And this is when he knows there's a defender right there. I need to shield it with my body, gather in my body, and tuck it away. Really good job on the reception.
Braxton's the senior. His brother Riley is the youngster. Both Knockriners, same traits. They're kids who are smart. They run good routes. They have sure hands.
Really good throwing lane, too, on that for Cotter to shoot it through.
From the 44, Brunel, marker, thrown into the pile here. Smart on the tackle. And the officials discuss amongst themselves. We do have replay, and we've seen it used here already.
Holding
today
on the offense, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And the replay has come in handy because we've seen some wild, woolly, and wacky plays that needed some extra help, some eyes in the sky for assistance.
So far through this first quarter and a half, right, Columbus has avoided a penalty like this. And this is one thing that where Catholic Memorial starts to really feel or smell blood in the water, right? Columbus has to make sure that they're moving forward. They can't play behind the chains and give this defense a chance to tee off. So now they come out in an empty set. We'll see what they throw at the Crusader defense.
Cotter is going to call his own number, get a few yards here, and then hit the reset button. It'll still be second and long.
Try and get something back and see where you're at, and then that decides, right, for your offensive coordinator, what type of play are we going at next? If they get 10 yards, maybe they take a little different play approach. But you're in midfield range, right? So you got an opportunity here to do some things to stretch down, at least pull it down to 15 yards if you're going to throw a pass. If you're in a run, throw it, get it to Burnell and let him go.
C64, that's Colin Selk, all-state lineman up front for the Cardinals from that right guard spot. They love to run behind him. Cotter wants to throw, and down he goes. Eventually able to squirm forward for a couple, but the damage is done.
Initial protection was fine, and then you get the defensive backfield, right? This is what you call a coverage sack. He's checking receiver to receiver. He feels that pressure. There's nowhere to go because guys are covered in the back end. That's really well done defensively in the secondary. Allows your guys up front to really work.
Keith Williams was there first, cleaned up by Tanner Smart.
It's the first life we've really seen from this Crusader defense too, right? They got some pressure. They got after that first down. Of course, the holding penalty certainly helps, but you see a little bit of extra bounce in their step right now.
Ryan Stefanik is the defensive coordinator at CMH. They give you multiple looks. Sometimes they go 3-4, sometimes 4-3. A lot of moving pieces. Third down and long. Cotter slings it. Catch is made, but short of the first down. Braxton Knockreiner at the 48-yard line. Do you dare go for it here on 4th and 3?
Yeah, my guess on this, right, even though he's short, they're going to come out and punt. The thing that was really good about this play is it gets him across the 50-yard line. Now when you kick, it's about field position, right? You're not back another 10, 15 yards. So that helps your punter feel a little bit more comfortable with things and understanding where you can place your defense now. And then it's a matter of turning things around. Right. Although, again, the momentum you start to feel that change a little bit. We'll see what Columbus can come up with.
Braxton Knockreiner to kick it away. Butler fields at the 15. And Butler tripped up. Nice job by special teams. Mowbray Jefferson was there to bring him down. So field position, it shifts again. Catholic Memorial, the football again, trailing by a touchdown here in quarter number 2. CMH ready to roll again, trailing by a touchdown here. Just under 6 minutes left before halftime. Really good football game so far. Both teams getting after it. Carry up the middle. Again, that's the change of pace quarterback, MJ Mitchell. Doesn't have a throwing touchdown. But he does, Nelly, have 8 rushing touchdowns, so he has potential to take it all the way.
Really good job on the double team by your center and your guard, crashing down on the nose guard and open up a huge seam for him to get through.
Nathaniel back in there, taking the snaps, whipping it, sidelines. McCormick catching out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Bennett McCormick, also a terrific hoops player at CMH, and he holds the school record, Nelly, in the triple jump. So that's what you call an athlete.
Absolutely.
He's physical, he's fast, he's got great hands. Nathaniel, little dump off to Williams. And Keith, rumbling, bumbling, out of bounds at the 39-yard line. I couldn't resist.
That's right. So last 2 plays, right, the coaching staff has called for Nathaniel, really quick out, and a little dump out to your H-back or your tight end. Easy passes, easy things to complete out in space and allow those guys to work. But now you start to establish some confidence in your passing game, and you start to put Columbus on their heels a little bit because you've been able to get to the edge.
And they always go no huddle, but they're going quick once they get to the line. Corey Smith breaking tackles. Look out!
He's got a blocker.
Smith to the pylon. Touchdown! 61 yards for Corey Smith.
Well, we talked about it earlier, right? An opportunity for a young man to make some plays. He's shifty, he's quick, tremendous sense of balance. You just got to wrap up and grab some cloth, and then the little, again, jump cut around, receiver getting downfield. Great job by number 3, and Josh Bailey leads him to the house, and just like that, we're looking at being tied.
Extra point, Sean Nicholas. High snap. Gonna kick it anyway, and
wow,
somehow got it in. Wow is right. We're tied at 7. And Corey Smith, this is why the Crusaders staff said this is the most talented player to ever play at Catholic Memorial. I said, you got to be kidding.
Right.
No, this is why.
Right, and again, great sense of balance, the ability to read and see. We talk about the vision of Brunell on the other side. Smith has the same thing, and then the speed and the ability to take it to the house. But we started to feel that momentum switch, right? That last drive for Columbus started with a holding penalty. Catholic Memorial starts to feel that switch in momentum. They start teeing off defensively. They got a nice punt return, right? And so now they take a look at driving down the field offensively. They got a couple quick hitters to the outside edge. Things just settled down for that offense, and then you turn your workhorse loose. And again, Corey Smith, tremendous talent. And you see the ability that he has right there. Columbus was in a position to make a play, but you got to wrap up. And I know it's cold, and I know sometimes that contact hurts, but you got to hang on for dear life until those guys come with pursuit.
Corey Smith, only a junior, already over 25 Division I offers. Pick one of the major schools. They have already been in his ear, including Wisconsin. But he's got another year of football. He's got the rest of tonight to make a decision. 4 plays, 86 yards in 42 seconds. Just like that, we're tied at 7.
Now this is the one piece, right, where at Catholic Memorial, like, okay, that mystique, that aura, what they bring. How does Columbus react to this, right? Are they able to, whether they score or not, but are they able to establish themselves offensively again and get some positive momentum back to their side? Whether they score again or not is irrelevant, but they got to find a way to answer and move the ball a little bit against this defense now.
Sean Nicholas will boot it. Brunell is deep along with the 2 Knockgrinders. Loose ball finally picked up at the 11-yard line. Brunell's got it. He's running sideways. He's going down at the 20-yard line.
Good job in pursuit by that kick coverage unit for the Crusaders. Again, the picket fence across the board, right? The longer he goes sideline to sideline, the better off that unit is.
Yeah, this will be interesting study here. How does this group respond after that big play by Corey Smith and Catholic Memorial? Start this drive at the 20-yard line. Nathan Cotter, the quarterback. Off to Brunell. Gain of 5.
little shift by the defensive line for the Crusaders, and then you got number 11, who we talked about a handful of times, Keith Williams, basically playing like an outside linebacker, crashing down. But initially the hole was there, and a nice job by Brunell to shoot the gap, and then he carries along with him Williams for about another 3 or 4 yards. So a nice first down play to set up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, that's that vision we were talking about. He's very patient, just waits for that hole to open up. 2nd down and 5. Brunell left side and dives forward into the pile. Gain of about 3, brings up 3rd and 2.
You think when you look at this 3rd and 2, right? Why can't you get 2 yards, right? That should be so easy to have happen, and yet, again, sometimes defensive coordinators, right? They dial something up different. You get a little blitz in the mix. You have a linebacker shoot the gap. A lot of different things can happen here, and yet 2 yards, it's a long ways when you think about it, but it seems like it should be so simple. But when you have a defense like the Crusaders, it'll be really interesting for me to watch this offensive line and what type of push do they get.
Cotter shotgun, Brunell behind him. Cotter's got it, but he doesn't have the first down. 4th and 1, came up just shy. Cotter tried to lean over the pile, and the Crusaders denied.
I thought they had a good initial surge right from that offensive line. They got a push. Looked like Brunell was maybe going to get the ball, and then at the last second, Cotter pulls it. Well, what that does is delay the play to unfold, right? So it allows linebackers to scrape, defensive backs read run, and then you got the rest of, or the host of the Crusaders coming downhill, and it makes it really tough. Again, 3rd and 2 seems like it should be easy, but you saw there, case in point, what a good defense can do for that.
Knock Reiner to boot it. Butler's deep. Ball sailed to the 32. Butler zigzags, still on his feet. And out of bounds, but out of bounds on the Columbus side of the football field. Good return by Butler. CMH offense back out there, tied at 7.
Yeah, it didn't initially look like Butler had much there on the return, but you see the speed that he has getting to the outside edge, and then a little shiftiness along the sideline. Good coverage by Columbus to begin with, and then it's just a matter of outrunning angles. And Columbus needs to just do a better job. Instead of running behind one of their teammates, branch off and choose another lane. I think you get them out a little bit earlier, but again, the speed that you saw there is what Catholic Memorial is known for.
Crusaders in great shape here. 2:40 on the clock, all 3 timeouts remaining. 1st and 10 at the 42 of Columbus. Nathaniel in there. Straight drop, tons of time. And then incomplete. He checked downfield, Nelly, a couple different looks, and then went safety valve.
Yeah, the initial coverage in the back end from Columbus was really, really good. As he started to drift out and roll out, you sometimes lose your vision down the field. He's got 2 guys that were open late, but because of that pressure, he feels like he's got to go to his check down to the safety net, falls incomplete.
A.J. Brannick, the intended receiver, 2nd down and 10. Corey Smith. Bodies push, but only 2 on the carry there. 3rd and 8 awaits. 2:25 and ticking here before halftime.
Very comfortable in their type of offense that they want to run. They understand play clock, situational stuff, right? But 3rd and long is a huge one here. You look for a draw, look for a screen, especially with the ability that Smith has. Can you slip him behind that big offensive line, let those guys just push and see if you can get the 8 yards out of it?
Potentially a big play here in a tie ball game, and whistle and timeout called by Catholic Memorial right before the snap.
Timeout. Catholic Memorial, their first of the half.
Always interesting if you ever have a chance to sit or get a headset and listen to coaches, right? Like, hey, we got this play call, this way. I don't like it. I don't like it. A lot of times it's the head coach, I don't like it, and so they end up firing a timeout that way. Okay, let's regroup, coach. If we get this, we got to talk about those situational things. The understanding, as you said, a big 3rd down conversion here late in the 2nd quarter. If they are able to convert, you got a chance to continue to drive and at least get a field goal out of the situation. If we fall short, now we're managing, okay, now the head coach is on the defensive side. If we don't get this, is what we're going to do. Like all these gamesmanship and understanding situational stuff, but those conversations are happening over and over and over. And thankfully the kids don't have to listen to that, right? Because they just need to focus on the task at hand. That's running the play that's called.
Bill Young, my goodness, forever young. 45th year.
Doesn't age either.
He doesn't, no. He's a workout warrior every morning, too. Keeps him young. 3rd down and 8. Nathaniel throws and catches man at the 30 by McCormick. 1st down, Catholic Memorial. Timeout well spent, Nelly.
Absolutely. Corey Smith goes in motion across the way. The quarterback notices, hey, it's man coverage. I got one-on-one on the backside. He throws it, and if the defender makes this tackle, I think he's short of the 1st down. He just got caught peeking at the football and was able to slip the tackle and get the 1st down.
It's that hoops player going up to get that football, and they go right back to McCormick. Catch, cut, lassoed and tackled at the 18-yard line. Boy, we've seen the explosiveness of Corey Smith, but don't sleep on these receivers. They are good ones. McCormick, Jimmy Sheehan, both of them seniors.
Yeah, I think McCormick, for me, right, the ability that he has. Right now, you're in man coverage. It's awfully hard to go one-on-one. You got to find a way to get a little bit of help underneath.
Go back to the ground game here. Smith breaks free. Smith cuts, touchdown.
Really good job up front, Bob, and engaging and sustaining some blocks. And then Corey Smith, you expect him to make some moves, right? If we get an opportunity after this extra point is done to see that, he just does a little side shuffle, turns his hips. The defender whiffs by. We'll see it here right in the middle as he hits right through here. Here comes the defender. Boom. I'm going to slip. I'm going to push him out of my way. Rest is history.
Nelly, that is Division I college football moves that number 1 showing you tonight.
Well, that's why he has the interest that he has, right? Is the ability to do that.
Extra point is good. And that's why, again, the coaches said, even at Catholic Memorial, even the storied program, they haven't seen anything like this kid.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a number of guys that they've pushed through, right? A number of guys playing in college right now, and it's a program that has earned that respect. And for a young kid like this, now some of it, right, he's the most talented. If you really break it down, I think the coaches sometimes say stuff like that during the course of the season because they want to build that up, right? They want to have this mystique in the aura. But he's a tremendous running back. I'm not knocking his ability at all, but just a junior, there's work to be done. But when you see things like that, that's just instinct. That's natural ability. That's not something the coach has taught him to do. That's just God-given talent.
5 plays, 42 yards, $128 on the drive. Corey Smith into the end zone for the 2nd time tonight. Yep. That's the world we live in now.
Yep.
Quarterback going back to the iPad.
Always studying.
Yep. Love it. Sean Nicholas to kick. Nelly, you'll appreciate this. Sean is a 5-sport athlete. 5. I mean, he literally does it all at CMH. I got to give you the resume after the kick because it's quite the story. Picked up one of the up men and then taken down. Sean Nicholas plays soccer and football at the same time and runs cross country all in the fall.
Oh my gosh.
And then in the winter, he dials it back. Little basketball, little track in the spring.
So he's doing 3 in the fall.
He does 3 in the fall.
That's crazy.
He will practice special teams kicking, go over to the soccer field, and then run cross country in the morning. Good for you,
No
Sean.
thanks, I'm tapping out.
Right,
No way.
yeah. All right, Columbus. How do they respond here? 1:06 to go before halftime. Do they play it safe or try to get some points on the board? Cotter flushed up the middle. He goes and then crashes into 2 bodies at the 40-yard line. Harper was one of the guys there. There he is, Tyree. And that linebacker spot, a 3-year starter at inside linebacker.
Yeah, I think at halftime I would talk to Cotter and say, young man, don't lower your head when you go hit that guy. Just slide or do something because that's a load coming at you.
Yeah, that's 220.
Yeah, no thanks.
2nd and 6. Clock rolling here. Cotter to throw. In coverage, and ball pops out. It's incomplete. Trying to squeeze it in to Braxton Knockreiner.
I think he initially had that, and then as the play continued, the defensive back drive through the receiver, rip the hands, rip the arms, do whatever you can. Hopefully we'll get a good shot here on the replay, but I think he's initially got it, and then again right here, boom. Get the hand in there, punch and rip, and do whatever you can to knock the ball. That's just really good defensive back.
Yeah, that's Butler. Great timing on his part to get there without the PI.
Trust your instincts, trust your eyes, and then you got to go to work.
3rd and 6, Columbus. Go to Brunell. That's your sure thing. Brunell down the sidelines. Out of bounds, thrown out of bounds. That's going to be 15 more. And suddenly, the Cardinals, an opportunity for points before halftime.
Well, that's a huge penalty without a doubt, right? You drive him out of bounds, and it's one thing just to kind of let him go or you get tripped up, but that was blatant, right? He took him, he spun him around and whipped him. That's a good call by the official, and I can't imagine right now what Coach Bill Young is thinking.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty. First down.
I'll tell you what he's thinking. He was right in the face, in the ear hole of Josh Oxner, who got whistled for the penalty.
They went away from Brunell for a number of plays here. This is a really good play, good execution right here. Just let him go instead of whipping him down like you're 5-6 yards out of bounds. That's uncalled for, right? Good call by the official, but it sets up at the 16-yard line a great opportunity for Columbus to answer that last score and have an opportunity to potentially tie it up at half.
28-yard run, 15 tacked on, 16-yard line with 16 seconds to go.
New life in Columbus for sure.
Cotter over the middle, catch is made. And timeout called. Cotter got leveled, somehow got it off to Knockreiner, Braxton that is.
Tom, it looks like the ball's right about the sticks too. I don't know if they're going to give him a first down, make it 1st and goal from the 6, or it's going to be 2nd down.
Timeout, Columbus. That is their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Either way, Nelly, without any timeouts, A, you got to throw,
Yep.
or B, if you do run Brunell, then he's got to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, I think with 8 seconds left, right, you take a shot at the end zone. If nothing else, you throw it up over the top or out of bounds. You probably can squeeze 2 plays out of this, potentially. More than likely 1, and then you got to have your field goal unit ready. But you got to make sure you go to the end zone, or you got an out route that the guy's able to get out of bounds. I don't think you take a chance at a run here.
We're going to get super heavy on the field.
So the wheels turning here before halftime. Are we tied at 14? Is it 14-10? Does it stay 14-7? Again, no timeouts remaining for Columbus. Bill Young has a pair in his back pocket if he needs them. Right now, he just wants to stop. And Cotter and company looking for points before halftime. Throwing. Man open. Caught, touchdown! Mowbray Jefferson for 6.
Same formation, same look that they had in the first touchdown for Colton Brunell. This time they fake the handoff. Cotter steps back, and one of those backs that were behind the line of scrimmage drifts across. Again, play action here down on the goal line is really, really hard. And as you come across and you take a look at Jefferson Mowbray, does a great job of slipping behind the linebackers, getting behind the defensive back, and a perfectly thrown football for the score.
And the PAT is good, and we're tied at 14 with 3 ticks to go. Nelly, I got so excited I reversed the name. It's not Mowbray Jefferson, it's Jefferson Mowbray, his 5th TD catch of the year.
Either way, I think he'll take the touchdown, right? Whatever it is. But again, a tremendous job with lining up the same play action, and then Mowbray taking getting behind the defensive backs, the linebackers, and you lose sight of them because of that play action, because of what Colton Brunell brings to the mix. That's what you're looking at is a run play, and so your eyes get switched, you're late in coverage, and again, really good job executing by the quarterback and making sure that Nathan Cotter has time to throw, and then he's got to launch it across the field. That's a long, long throw, but really good job executing by that offense. And I'll tell you what, without that 15-yard penalty, I'm not sure this happens, right? That was
good point.
Huge play in this drive.
5 plays, 63 yards in a minute 3 with 3 seconds to spare. Jefferson Mowbray got separation. The pass from Cotter right on the money. We're going to be tied at halftime.
Well, we started at 3 seconds, ended at 3 seconds after that kick.
I guess time's quick still, right?
Quick fingers by the play clock operator.
Well, we stay tied, barring something crazy happening here. We've already seen what Corey
Please
Smith
set the
can do.
game clock to 2 seconds. 2
All right,
seconds.
there you go, Nelly.
I feel better now.
Rightfully so. But we asked the question twice in the late stages here of quarter number 2. How would Columbus respond? The first time, they weren't able to respond back, and CMH made them pay. This time, boy, did they respond in a big way. And both teams headed to the locker room for a reset and a warm-up in a game.
That is the end of the first half.
That's tied at 14 here in Madison. For all the marbles in Division 4, Catholic Memorial and Columbus going at it, and another half of football on tap here at Camp Randall Stadium. Columbus 14, Catholic Memorial 14. Halftime activities are just around the corner. Don't you touch your remote.
Both teams came into this championship final 13-0. Waukesha Catholic Memorial and Columbus tied at 14 here at the half. Shane Sparks, Carl Morn here with this interview at halftime. And Carl, you are the superintendent at Florence and also the president of the Board of Control for the WIAA. Explain the role of the Board of Control.
Well, the Board of Control oversees all of the governance of the WIAA, the Constitution, the bylaws. We kind of have sole control of that, or sole power of that. The only thing we really can't change are the rules on eligibility.
What are the key objectives on the forefronts for the Board of Control?
Well, I think the main one that we have coming up that we're going to be voting on probably in January will be on competitive balance. I know Stephanie will talk a little more about competitive balance tomorrow, but you know, they've been working on this for a lot of years, trying to get all the schools on the same playing field, having an equal chance to win championships and that, so they're on the same playing field. You know, we're talking about the public schools, the private schools, and the charter schools now.
What are you most proud of in this role?
You know, this has been a great experience. I've been on the board now for 3 years. Being elected as the board president, you know, I'm the first Native American to sit in this position, so it's a big honor, and it's a humbling honor myself, you know, to know that I'm the first one, and I try to do the best I can and represent our Native communities as well as all minority students across the state.
You and I were talking earlier about the WIAA and these state championships and all the sports. They're so well run, organized, great experience for these kids, coaches, and the fans. I mean, it's really hard to appreciate what a great job you guys do.
You know, I've been coming to the state tournament, you know, the basketball one, since 1981. You know, my dad would bring me down, Washburn would come down the state tournament, and being on the board and seeing what goes on, we have the greatest state tournaments in the country. I mean, the kids get to play here at Camp Randall. They play at the Cole Center. They play at the Resch Center. You know, baseball plays at Fox River Stadiums. I mean, you don't get that in other states. You just don't. And I mean, we have something special in Wisconsin, and WIAA just does a great job with it. It's been great to be part of it.
Well, coming from Florence, you said this weather, this is like spring break for you.
You know, it is. I mean, we, you know, it gets cold in January. It gets about 30, 40 below some days. You know, I grew up in Washburn, Wisconsin, on the shores of Lake Superior, so this is nothing. I didn't need a jacket for this.
management not to give Catholic Memorial any time.
And you talk about that late touchdown, the pass to Jefferson Mowbray. You've been in these situations. You can't really put a price tag on momentum, and man, that was a big play heading to the locker room.
It was huge because, you know, then they were out of time. They were going to have to, they maybe had one more play, and then do you kick the field goal and take the points, or do you roll the dice? And so I think the Columbus coaches have done a fantastic job of clock management, game management. They've got a great game plan.
What's something perhaps a little bit under the radar to pay special attention to in this second half?
Well, you know, again, special teams, the speed and quickness of Catholic Memorial is evident that Columbus is trying to avoid, but they almost broke a punt return early in the second quarter. That was Catholic Memorial, so their punt return game is pretty dangerous. So, you know, again, that speed and quickness throughout could be a difference maker.
We'll send it back up to the booth with Bob and Scott. 14-14 in this Division IV state championship game here on Bally Sports Wisconsin.
Back here in Madison, if you're not watching the game up at Green Bay, thank you. And stick with us here. Yeah, we got a terrific ball game, tied at 14 in Division IV, Columbus and Catholic Memorial. First half highlights, we had plenty of them, Scott Nelson. It was right out of the chute, CMH establishing their all-state running back, but first, Columbus was on the board first with Brunel going into the end zone. He's an all-state running back as well. Here's the other one, Corey Smith.
Two tremendous running backs, both juniors all-state that way. And this is the one that kind of tipped the scale over into Catholic Memorial side. This big punt return set up their score. And then this one right here, like, to me, like, how did that happen? Right, guys got you dead to rights as a tackle. You just slip right by him for 6 points. But Columbus came back. A huge penalty against Catholic Memorial on a late hit out of bounds. Columbus found a way to capitalize, punch it in, and we sit tied at 14-14. The thing for me now, as you look at the stats coming out after the first half, Columbus gets the football, right? What are they going to be able to do? Can they establish that same ground attack that they got a little bit away from early in the second quarter, but then you come back with Brunel, and Colton's done a tremendous job in running with purpose. But those third down situations right now that Catholic Memorial is starting to push them in, they've been able to capitalize, right? But can you continue, and how do you answer the call? Last year we talked in the round 4 matchup, right, where it was a close game at halftime and Catholic Memorial pulled away. Has Columbus learned from that, and how do they come out and approach the second half?
Yeah, so many things, so much drama to unfold here in the second half of a game tied at 14 apiece. Catholic Memorial and Columbus teeing up again when we return. It's almost like a Hollywood producer, Nelly, said, cue the snow.
That's right.
I mean, this doesn't even look real, but as we all know in Wisconsin, it's real, and it's fallen here to start the second half of this one. Again, we'll do the running back comparison. Corey Smith caught up on the negative numbers, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and a couple big runs on his part, right? Tremendous job up front by that offensive line, but Colton Brunel has really been the workhorse for this offense. Again, we saw them get away a little bit from him. Yeah, how about that?
It's like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Game face.
What he feels really good right now is he's standing in front of the heater on the sideline, right? That's a smart move on his part. These two backs, again, two juniors, two all-state kids, and they both are tremendous athletes. They're the workhorse and the bread and butter of each offense. And it's going to be back and forth with the chess match here in the second half as Columbus gets set to return the kick.
Nicholas, the run-up. Low line drive, and if it goes OB, it does. Columbus says, we'll take it. Up to the 35-yard line. So again, to emphasize Scott Nelson's point, you got that touchdown before the half.
Kick out of bounds on the kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
So you got that tying touchdown. That was the response. Now, with the football, how do you respond here? This is almost like a gift. It's like double dipping, Nelly.
Right, and I think the coaching staff for Catholic Memorial on the other side has challenged this defense. We need to step up. We need to get the ball back right now and not give them any chance to get down the field.
Nathan Cotter's the quarterback. Knows this offense inside and out. Hands it off to Brunel. Off the right side. Again, right side is where Colin Selk, the All-State senior right guard, he's the heart and soul of this team, the vocal leader. His coach says he plays with a chip on his shoulder, and that's good if you're a lineman.
Oh, you love to see a lineman like that, right? Being a little nasty. Not cheap, but just nasty, right? And they did a really good job of giving him some help pulling the left guard. And you just run basically an off-guard run to the right side, and Brunel, being a big load at 200 pounds, is a tough guy to bring down. So you're trying to create some mismatch and a little bit of an overmatch on one side of this formation.
Second down and 5, Brunel again. Right side again, gain of 2. It'll make it 3rd down and 3.
One thing that Catholic Memorial does really well defensively, and actually Columbus tonight has done a really good job as well, is when they're engaged on blocks, they stay shoulders squared to the line of scrimmage. They're not trying to turn, and then you get skinny. That gives gaps for running backs to go through. They stay square, they plug up the holes on both sides here. They're really well coached and disciplined in their technique.
Bill Young says he still has butterflies after 45 years of this. Cotter. Again, fake the Brunel, the line bit, Cotter around the right side, 1st down Columbus.
We've seen Cotter do that a handful of times. One time he didn't pull it and he got in trouble. This time a really good job reading, again, the defensive end crashing down, and he pulls the ball, carries it on his edge, and then you got a receiver on the outside corner blocking, and he turns it upfield, tries to slide, kind of tripped himself up a little bit, I think, but enough for the 1st down.
You saw Carl Peavy, he tried to stop on a dime, slipped. And the frustration, I'm like, oh no. Little flip to the sideline, and catch is made, but an even better tackle by Brannick. He was there for the instant wrap-up to limit the damage. Only a gain of 2.
Well, great job by A.J. Brannick on the outside edge. As an outside backer, looks to see what's happening to the outside. They know they're outmanned on the edge. A quick dart pass to the outside, trying to hit that bubble screen, so to speak. But great pursuit by number 8. You see the speed that defense carries.
Memorial always good tacklers, great technique. You saw it there. 2nd down and 8. Cotter with time, in traffic. Catch is made! Oh my goodness, marker comes in. It might be PI, but how in the world did Braxton Knockreiner go up and get it?
Well, just tremendous again. Protection up front, everybody blocked. This has to be a perfectly thrown football. It has to be, and it is. It comes down. Knockreiner does a great job getting.
Personal foul.
Face mask.
Face mask on the defense. Half the distance to the goal line. 1st down.
So on top of that, not only is he going up to make the catch, he's getting half of his face ripped off. Right, you'll see it here at the tail end of this as he's up in the air. Right here, you can see his hand come across and his head go down. What great wherewithal and presence to secure the football for the completed catch.
That is amazing.
Huge.
By Knockreiner.
2 big penalties by Catholic Memorial's defense here now to really help Columbus offense to sustain a drive.
Trying to answer the question of how would they respond out of the locker room. So far, so good. Brunel. Big burst off that right side to the 8.
A little different look by Columbus. Number 11, Oliver Setz behind the guard. It's another blocker to lead him off the right side edge that way. And again, just trying to match up man for man and then let your running back go at it. Colton Brunel, again, between him and Corey Smith are 2 really, really good running backs that are patient and set their guys up. And they continue to move forward. They don't come down with negative yardage.
2nd down and 5 for Columbus. Give it to Brunel. Brunel. Is he in? Yes, touchdown! All the Cardinals had their hands in the air. They're saying, come on, Zebras, help us out.
Sometimes learning a little patience is good, right? Sit, wait, you try to help them out a little bit. Really good job first by Nathan Cotter to get this football to his running back, and he does get in. That's a good call by the officials. And watch Cotter after this play. He's slow to get up. He's laboring. He's taking some big shots throughout the course of this game, but he's a young, competitive, strong man that's not going to give up on his team here as he bends down to hold the extra point.
And there is your answer. Big penalty on CMH. Set up Brunel for his second touchdown run of the contest. That kick is blocked. And in a game like this, you never know, Nelly.
Right. Every point counts. That snap was a little bit low to his left. He had to grab it, did a great job of securing it and getting the ball down. But that's a fraction of a second less that your kicker has a chance to see it. Plus, great penetration up front by the defensive line for Catholic Memorial.
Yeah, Vranick got in there and smothered it. So it's Columbus back in front. They started this game in front. Third quarter, they're back in front. For how long? We return to the third quarter here in Madison. Last year, this level 4 contest to get to state. Colton Brunel, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. So far, 2 touchdowns, 131 yards. He's picked up where he's left off. Colton, though, is hoping that the end result is different, Nelly.
Well, you see him getting the work done on the sideline there, stretching some things out. He's taking a number of big shots. He's running hard, but he's got to get himself ready to head on defense now, right? Where they don't have the platoon like some teams have, and so get himself right and be able to go again.
Smith picks it up. It died at the 7-yard line. Look out here. Got to bottle him up, and Columbus does that.
Columbus did a much better job of, again, the picket fence, not following a teammate of yours, just taking a separate angle, and they stretched him out sideline to sideline, forced him to stop, came back in where all the pursuit was coming from. Really, really good job. And here comes Brunel then back in after getting stretched out, and hopefully he's okay. He's going to be able to go here defensively.
And now we ask the question of Catholic Memorial. How do they respond? They were trailing. It's different when you ask the question in the first quarter. Now, third quarter, 8:39 to go, you're down by 6.
Yeah, when you're struggling, you're a little bit more tired than you were to start the game. Right now, you're starting at the 15-yard line, so you're back in your own territory pretty deep. We'll watch what Columbus defense can do as well.
Nathaniel, give it to Smith. Corey lunges forward to the 18-yard line, pick up 3.
Trying to do a little cutback behind his offensive line, just tripped himself up. And as we see, the snow keeps coming down a little bit. It's a little bit lighter now, but that field that snow gathers on there, it's cold. It becomes a little bit more slippery. You really have to have sure-footed.
Nathaniel, Isaiah on the keeper. Just shy of the first down marker. Going to be 3rd down and 1.
Taking a little note out of the playbook from his counterpart, Nathan Cotter for Columbus, decides to pull it, carry it on his own, and sets up a 3rd and short. And this is one where Columbus has to be smart, right? You really got to engage on the run and be sound there, but you don't want anything up over the top where you're expecting run and they pop it with a pass.
Mitchell in there, MJ, the running QB, if you will. He keeps it. He gets it. First down, CMH to the 28.
Again, personnel, play calls that you like with players, offensive coordinator shuffling in people defensively. Typically, you don't see like you do in college where different personnel come in. But a really good job of reading and finding a gap. Like one defensive tackle exposed, and he makes some miss, slips by him for the first down. It's just a really good play, well designed.
So Mitchell gets it done. Nathaniel back in there. First set of downs for the Crusaders. Isaiah rolling. And then fires it to McCormick at the last second. Catch made at the 31-yard line, just a gain of 3. Isaiah Nathaniel, 75% completion percentage on the season, Nelly. When he throws with a purpose.
Well, 2 things going on. 1, you got to be accurate as a passer. 2, you got to have really good receivers to make the catch for you. It all goes hand in hand.
And you've always got this kid behind you. Nice to be able to just hand off and see him churn out yards. And here comes a late flag, and I mean late. And this is going to go against Catholic Memorial. There was some extracurricular while the piles were being pushed around.
I think you get one of the offensive linemen late, just taking his guy, continue to drive, and then toss him after the whistle was thrown or blown. Get the call from the official here.
You see Nathan Lott, that's 77, the big fella, only senior on this offensive line. And Nate was barking over to the sideline saying, I didn't do it, which usually means you did.
The result of the play is the first down. After the play, personal foul, late hit on the offense, 15-yard penalty.
So they get the first down, then it goes backwards from there for 15 yards. Watch right at the end, you see number 77 on the right-hand side of your screen. First he's holding, right to begin with, and then he launches Brunell back over the pile. You just can't do that.
Yep.
And he knew right away, he tried to get out of there, right, tried to hide. Big boy like that's not hiding.
No. Again, only senior. The rest of the linemen are all juniors, so you expect more out of your senior. 6'1", 280 is Nate. Boo-boo there. Still a first down, but back at the 23-yard line for CMH. And it's Nathaniel. Tries to careen around. Tried the quick give up the middle. They didn't bite. Columbus didn't.
Really good job by Brady Engel. He's got to the outside edge, but you see some speed by the D lineman. Again, staying square and then grabbing onto the jersey, securing the tackle, bringing him down. That's a really good play by the defensive lineman.
Yeah, only gave up 3 yards.
Could have been for a lot more if he didn't get him.
They're giving Corey Smith a breather here. Haven't called number 10 all night long until now. That's P.J. Reynolds, a senior. And again, just to give Corey Smith, who's back in there now.
Well, here we are with the 3rd and 1 situation. Are they going to go back with the quarterback situation? What type of play are they going to run? They hand it off to Smith. Looks like he was stopped short.
He was. Not this time, says Columbus. Cardinals forcing the Crusaders to make a decision. Do you gamble here in your own territory at the 32-yard line? You got an all-state back. Punting team ain't going out there.
They are bringing out Mitchell, though, as a quarterback.
Yep.
So now it stresses the defense when you have an option quarterback like this, where a guy that maybe can pass, but he's good with his legs. You got to have somebody spy him that way. See if they maybe go with a hard count, dry him off. Nope, here we go.
Mitchell got the first down. That's what he's in there for. And he picks it up.
And that's got to be a quick hitter for your offensive line. Just get in, sustain a block. You don't have to move him downfield. Just open up a seam for him to get through. A really good job of getting bodies on a body. They look at Smith, right? And they draw 2 guys to the outside edge, and he hits it right up the middle.
Back to Nathaniel, running around, throwing, man open, downfield. At midfield and up and over into Columbus territory. That's Jimmy Sheehan. Seen a lot of McCormick, now Jimmy, the other senior wide receiver.
Really nice job of getting guys up over the top, drawing your cornerback back, and he's wide open underneath. It's always risky, though, when you spin. That's a fumble waiting to happen. Really secure the football in this type of weather.
1st and 10 at the 48 of Columbus. Nathaniel to McCormick. Had to come back to get it. Got it. Complete. 5. 2nd down and 5.
Memorial's got a little bit rolling here right now. They did some of that quick hit to the outside edge. Again, they're setting themselves up at 2nd and medium range now, and this is where you let your running back work a little bit. But Columbus has continued to do a really good job of getting up in the middle, plugging gaps, and linebackers scraping, and then their safeties are coming downhill in a hurry, which helps in the tackle like that.
And I think message received by Columbus that they have to wrap up Corey Smith when he gets the football. They've seen him wiggle out of too many situations and run into the end zone as well.
Yeah, you better hang on to cloth and let your teammates come help you, because he's not a guy that's going to go down with one person.
3rd and 5, what are you doing? You're going quarterback up the middle to the 41-yard line, 2.5 yards shy of the first down.
Well, if they went for it in their own territory, I got a feeling they're going for it here again.
And this time, Mitchell on the sidelines. Nathaniel at the controls on 4th, and we'll call it 3.
Might end up getting a timeout here. We'll see.
Crowd loving this. Big play. Smith. Denied. Columbus takes over. Mark this down, Scott Nelson. This might be a turning point play in this D4 football game.
I think this is one thing where Columbus has just established themselves. They're not backing away from anything. We're going toe-to-toe with the big boys. Bring it on. Let's go.
That was your All-State linebacker, Milani Aragon, making the big-time stop. Nelly, he's the Mike linebacker, an absolute animal who flies the football. That was all him, all engaged to make that big stop.
Yeah, you want your guys to read quick, and when he reads, boy, did he go quick, and he made a huge stop there for that Columbus team.
Now can the offense cash in? Brunell, not yet. Big-time stop there by CMH. Keith Williams involved. Again, we've called 11's number a whole lot tonight.
Yeah, he's a heck of a defensive player. He's strong and he's long. And again, Brunell is really one that you have to engage, much like you do with Corey Smith. These running backs don't come down single-handedly. It's going to take force to get them down.
Keith Williams, he's got the size of a D lineman, but they play him at linebacker. So he flies to the ball and then has that bulk to bring you down. 2nd and 10. Brunell, right side again. It's been the choice du jour. Again, you've got an All-State lineman there and Colin Selk, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah, good gain of 6 yards, right? It puts you in a much more manageable situation with 3rd down. Even though 4 yards, we talked about 2 earlier in this game, right? It's hard to get that, but this sets you up for a little bit here. You can run some play action. If it's covered, you maybe have a safety route, but you got to make sure guys are getting past that 48-yard line. If you do, you're fine. If you're going to run the ball, you better get a huge push here, but I would look for something maybe off edge coming to the wide side field towards us.
3rd and 4 for the Cards. Go to Brunell. Not quite, but oh, so close. Less than a yard, 4th and a few feet. And Andrew Selgrade and his father Ott, the offensive coordinator, trying to dial something up to keep the football in their midst, leading by 6.
Probably one where they tell them, hey, we're going to go with the hard count, sit on this one first, we'll call them another play and see what they can get with that. This is like the game planning through the course and situational football that you practice week in and week out.
Brunell denied. Carl Peavy. Boy, flew in, Nelly. I mean, Peavy shot out of a cannon, and Catholic Memorial takes over.
Yeah, that was either a missed assignment up front by the offensive line or just a great play on his part. But you see him right off the edge. Yeah, that was just a missed block by the left tackle for Columbus. He needs to take a drive step to his right. He goes straight down the field. And unfortunately for him, Peavy didn't. Peavy went to the correct gap, shot through it. And that's a huge play and a huge stop for Catholic Memorial. We've seen 2 great defensive stops on 4th downs by both teams. This is setting up to be one heck of a finish heading into the 4th quarter.
Back to the Crusaders. 1st and 10 to 49 of Columbus. Final seconds of the 3rd. Empty backfield, Nathaniel over the middle. Man open, wide open. McCormick, touchdown!
They threw a little funky formation at him, right? They brought a tackle actually all the way out, just inside the wide receiver, number 79, Donovan Harbor, and he's out. So as Columbus is looking around, trying to get a shot, and like, who's where? Who do we cover? They don't need to cover the tackle. He's not eligible, and that left the guy open on the other side because they're mismatched because of the formation that they ran. Columbus wasn't able to adjust fast enough. Really good play call offensively by the Crusaders, and this huge after point here. If this goes through, man, again, heading into a great fourth quarter.
Kick is up. Kick is good. Memorial in front. This is easy. One play, 49 yards. McCormick, his 7th touchdown catch of the season. That one was number 6, sticking the arms out saying, just get it to me, 19.
Yeah, again, a little bit different formation, right? Columbus is trying to adjust. They didn't recognize fast enough that they're covering an offensive lineman. He releases downfield. If you're in man coverage, you're expecting safety help over the top. No reroute or jam from your linebacker. That's an easy throw and catch. But again, a design play call that you have that you put in a special wrinkle for today's game, and they executed it perfectly.
It's Nick Vitale, the OC, dialing that one up. That was clever. That was timely to get McCormick into the end zone. And you talk about taking advantage of the 4th down stop,
right.
One play later. And Catholic Memorial has the lead.
Yeah, whether it's sudden change on a turnover or something like that, right? You got the momentum. We're going to hit it. We're going to try and strike quick, and they did. And again, really good play call and a funky formation that just messed up the defense for Columbus. And that's one thing now for the Cardinals. They got to take a look at what happened. How do we adjust to this? We got to make sure we find the right personnel because we were outnumbered where we didn't need to be.
Nicholas again, tee it up. Brunell and the Knock Grinders all deep on this snowy Camp Randall field. Look out. Ball loose. Crusaders say they got it. And they do. Josh Oxner with the recovery.
Opportunity strikes, right? You make the most of it. And as we see, the field is becoming more snow covered. A lot is coming at you. It's a little squib kick. This is one where you got to go down and just try and scoop it, get on the ground. Maybe not go down to scoop it and run with it, but get to the ground and recover it. But again, a design play call, special teams comes into a big play in a football game like this as things start to get a little bit more slippery. My guess on this one, they're going to go back to Corey Smith and try and get him going. But I won't be surprised if we see another shot down the field.
That was Aragon who made that big 4th down stop. Tried to field it now. Going for the jugular to McCormick again. It's incomplete. Overshot him. Crowd wants a penalty. And no, just good coverage there downfield by Knockreiner.
Yeah, I think that's good coverage. I think they got their feet just tangled up. I don't think it was anything intentional. He didn't reach out and grab for him. He's just trying to run with him. And as you see at the tail end here, right, the ball's thrown. He's trying to recover, but yeah, they just get their feet tangled up. It wasn't anything that he did to push him or intentional that way.
Yeah, official right there. Good non-call. 2nd and 10. 38. And back to the line of scrimmage. Everybody was going full house right, trying to get everybody on the defensive side to bite that way. They did not.
Yeah, Mitchell in there, they've just... Remember, it's 4th down, the ball's fall. Let it fall. You just lost 10 yards, even though you got an interception, right? That just, you need to be smart with that, knock it down. Watch a couple of the Cardinals players go up to him like, hey, we'd be up here if you didn't catch that thing. I'm glad you got the interception, but again, the ball's getting slippery, it's getting cold. Footing is not as good as it was up over the top. And again, that almost looked like it hit the ground even, but officials ruled it. That was all set, right? Catholic Memorial on the 4th down stop, which I thought was a gutsy call by Columbus. The Columbus defense comes up with a big stop and brings up 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. 11:18 left in this game, right? There's a lot of work to be done, but plenty of time to get it done.
Got a, is that a duck?
It's been flying around a handful of times, yeah. Probably thinks the snowflakes are food.
The state football duck, okay. Back to Brunell. Up the gut, Hall of Fame coach Al Minert. He's down in the field. Al, you see the weather, and the field is getting disruptive now. What adjustments do the running backs have to make on a field like this?
You really got to try and clamp down here because the ball is slippery. The footing isn't the best either. But you saw how this game has swung on some special teams decisions. Blocked kick on the extra point, a decision not to punt, a kickoff fumble.
Catch, 1st down.
Well, that's an interesting one. That probably should have been pass interference because he caught it past the line of scrimmage. Offensive pass interference.
Yeah, that's Riley Knockreiner, the younger of the two Knockreiners, with the catch. But you're right, Al. We're seeing both of these teams. They're going for it, and the defenses have both dug in when offenses say, all right, you're going to go for it, we're going to make you pay.
No, this has just been a great football game. You guys are doing a wonderful job, especially with this atmosphere, snow globing.
Ah,
Love it.
love it. 1st down, Columbus. Low snap, and whistle, and a false start, yeah.
False start on the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, 1st down.
But Al, I want to touch on another thing. You talked about the field conditions and the slippery football. In a 1-point game here in the 4th quarter, this game could be decided on a miscue.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's you know, it's just really difficult to hold on to the football, both throwing it and catching it. You saw the quarterback drop the ball trying to throw it. So, yeah, this is a slippery slope, as they say.
Ah, I see what you did there. Cotter to throw. Little dump off to Brunell, just got it away. And then you can see the slippery track, not able to get a big head of steam there to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, almost intercepted, surprisingly, by number 95, Jaden Smith. The defensive lineman read that. If he's able to get both hands out there, who knows? But you'll see it.
Personal foul, late hit, roughing the quarterback on the defense.
Oh, boy.
Another big penalty.
1st down.
You heard the call, and have these penalties for Catholic Memorial been ginormous in this game?
As a coach, you talk about foolish penalties and things, a tackle out of bounds, late hit on a quarterback like we just saw there, right? This ball comes out, and not only late hit on the quarterback from behind, so that's player safety, right? No reason to do that. You can still tap them, but don't drive through them like they did. Completed catch, another 15 yards tacked on. That's a huge penalty.
Columbus was in big trouble.
For sure.
Got bailed out with the 1st and 10.
Got that right, Coach. 5 penalties now for CMH, 63 yards, and they have all been huge calls, helping the cause for Columbus. They'll take all those yellow hands.
Oh, absolutely.
And on the carry there, close to midfield here, it'll bring 2nd down and 7 up.
Well, Columbus has been lucky, Al, with those penalties right there against Catholic Memorial. They've been able to capitalize. That's huge.
Absolutely. Look for Cotter to keep one here. It didn't look like anybody had him accounted for on that last run play.
Good look at the field there. Quickly, it has become snow covered here in Madison. Cotter to throw. Hangs in the pocket. Catch is made over the middle. And finally brought down at the 31-yard line. Riley Knockreiner, the junior. Big time play there.
Great job up front by the offensive line, giving him time to throw. He was able to check from receiver to receiver, be patient and waiting. They're in zone coverage up over the top, finding the hole in the gap. The receiver does a great job of securing the football, and then some extra yards after the run for another huge first down for Columbus.
Especially in these conditions, to make a throw like that.
Impressive. 22 yards on the hookup to the junior Nachreiner. 1st and 10 at the 32. Low snap, Cotter handles it. Brunel, left side, churns his way to the 26.
And to Al's point, right, with securing the football as a running back, as a quarterback receiver, not only that, but the center starts everything, right? So the ball is slippery. As we saw there, a low snap. Really good job by Cotter going down to get it. But that's where it starts. Really, your center has to make sure he's got a solid grip on the football, where you don't have a ball just squirt back on the ground and cause for a potential turnover.
That young man is Devin McCormick, the only junior. The rest of the beef up front for Columbus, seniors. Brunel. Cotter waited to the last second.
Looked like he was
tucking
almost
into that
trying
belly.
to pull that.
Yeah, you get that sense, Coach, don't you, where he's trying to get it out of there, and yet you have your all-state running back and Brunel that no way I'm taking the rock if you give it to me.
But again, Al, you got to be careful in these conditions.
Oh, yeah.
With that pigskin. And here's a critical down here for Columbus. 3rd down and 2. Brunel straight ahead. 1st down, Cardinals. 21-yard line. And here is part 2 of this drive, Scott Nelson. Look at the clock. Under 7 minutes to go in regulation. Columbus, optimal for them, of course, is taking the lead with a field goal or a touchdown. But in the process, chew up clock. Don't give your opponents a whole lot to work with.
Yeah, I think the tempo of this drive, the way they seem under control, they're comfortable with what's being called, and they're executing extremely well.
Back to Brunel. And in conditions and with the game on the line, you're going to your all-state back. No question about it.
Yeah, strong kid. He knows how to secure the football. He's done it all year long. He's produced time and time again for Columbus. I've really enjoyed watching this offensive line really engage against the defense for Catholic Memorial. That old line for Columbus has done an outstanding job today.
2nd and 8. Six minutes to go. Cotter, again, the low snap handle. And Brunel punishing, lowering his helmet close to the 15-yard line. You're looking at 3rd down and 4 for the Cardinals.
But probably 2 downs to get it.
Yeah, I'm guessing you got 2 downs like you heard Coach Minner talk there. Again, a punishing run, falling forward. This is one where I would guess, depending upon how comfortable you are with your field goal unit, right, in this type of condition, you need to have sure footing from your kicker. This might be, like Coach said, 2-down territory.
Well, we saw Corbin Hines miss that PAT. He's a pretty good kicker. But that's the difference in this ball game right here. 3rd down and 4. Brunel stopped the line of scrimmage. They'll give him a yard. Close to the 14, but 4th and 3 here.
Looks like they're bringing on the field goal unit here.
They're going to try it. So Corbin Hines, on the year, according to their stats, he's made just 2 field goals. Corbin, senior, they'll tee it up at the 21-yard line, 31-yard field goal to take the lead. Kick is up, and kick is good! He snuck it in!
Wow, when he initially kicked that, I'm not sure that had enough to get over the crossbar. Just barely, but barely's good enough.
31-yard kick. Cardinals in front by 2. through the snow. He laughs in the faith that Mother Nature found the coffin corner and the lead for Columbus. The winter wonderland continues here in Madison, but how about the clutch kick with the game on the line for the moment? The lead goes back, swings back in favor of Columbus, and the 31-yard kick in the elements, Nelly.
Yeah, the old pendulum, right, that goes back and forth with momentum, back and forth, and this has been an outstanding game. Each team has found ways to capitalize when it's their turn. We'll see what Catholic Memorial can do against a spirited Columbus defense.
Bailey and Butler, or Bailey and Smith are deep. This is Josh Bailey. Wrapped up at the 36-yard line.
Good return, good field position for them to start their drive. So there's been a handful of times where we talked about sure footing and ball security from your quarterback, your running backs. But it's also now defensively, right? Can you stop and break down and make a tackle? Because it is getting slippery out there. Even though these guys have cleats on their shoes, right? You're not kicking off dirt and mud anymore. You're kicking off snow that continues to pack in there. It's going to be real interesting to see how this defense pursues.
Bailey dinged up on that return. Saw him hopscotching there on the sidelines. All right, offense back out there. Nathaniel at quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 37. Give it to Corey Smith. And he's upended. What a play made by Jefferson Mowbray. Got it right that time, Jefferson.
Really good job getting in the legs. Running backs hate that when you take their legs out that way. They can't do their work. Great job of securing the tackle, bringing him down for a gain of 1. Outstanding job.
Signals coming in on this snowy football field. 2nd down and 8. Mitchell in at QB again. Takes the snap, calls his own number, ball's out! We just talked about ball security. Under 3 to go in regulation. It's 3rd and 4 for Columbus.
We'll probably be under 2 minutes by the time this ball is snapped. So if they get a stop, timeout, Catholic Memorial, and see what they can do on 4th down situation. But first things first, you got to get a stop here.
Cotter. Brunel bouncing, gets the 1st down. Huge run by the junior. Move the chains, keep the football. Under 2 to go.
Really heads up play. Again, following his blockers as he needs to. Official came in, was going to give him about another yard. His knees went down, worked him back, but still enough for the first down. Really good pop defensively, bringing him down for the tackle, but not enough to keep him short. Again, we're winding down, minute 37 seconds in this ball game. Catholic Memorial hasn't used any timeouts. They need to get a stop here on one of these plays to help them out.
And now timeout call.
Delay of game.
Oh, delay of game.
Yeah.
That'll stop the clock. A free
Delay of game.
timeout.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
But you're right, Nelly. 3 timeouts left. Catholic Memorial, they got to start burning them here.
I think the clock will wind once they get the ball set as well. Coach is talking to the official right now on the sideline, the Catholic Memorial sideline, telling them what they want if they get a stop. They're at the snap. Clock will move. They get a good stop here, they'll call a timeout. Or should call a timeout.
1st and 15. Cotter keeps it. And he'll go down. Lassoed and thrown down by Keith Williams. And there's the first timeout. Well, that's exactly what Bill Young's squad needed.
Memorial, their first of the second half.
You keep them going backwards. You burn the first timeout. Got to get your hands back on the football here.
Well, and defensively, too, if you keep moving back, you stop, you call another timeout, you get him a punt situation, the snap and the kick on that's not going to be easy, right? So you keep driving. Now you gain some field position. If there's a bad snap, ball's on the ground, the punter gets down on the ground, you're looking at gaining another 15 yards in your own territory, and you're sitting down only 2 points. This could be really, really interesting as we proceed in this game. If you're watching at home on TV, yes, it's snowing that much. It's crazy to be watching this thing.
It's the worst of the snow bursts that we've had all day. We had some this morning for the Division 7 championship, but then it stopped and field cleared, and it was on and off flurries, but this is just
as full blown, right?
Yeah. This is serious stuff. And because of this serious stuff, nothing is a given or certain for Columbus, having to snap the football, hand it off, secure it. 2nd and long. Cotter. 2 hands on the football, Nelly, and timeout Bill Young, number 2.
Yeah, Columbus not taking any chances even with a handoff, right? Just get it to your quarterback. You end up having Brunel
Timeout, Catholic Memorial, their second of the half.
You're running back and Brunel as a lead blocker and just getting some yardage, staying in bounds, forcing them to burn another timeout. At 3rd down, if they get a stop here, it's a long ways for a first, but they're happy and content running some time. Get that timeout, try and pin them deep, make them go the length of the field with no timeouts.
Catholic Memorial, 5 state titles in the WIAA. 3 times they've been runner-up in the WIAA. Throw in 4 WISA titles back in those days and 5 WISA state runners-up. Bill Young, 45th year. He's seen games like this. He's been in games like this.
And there's no fight in his squad, right? That he's feisty as a head coach, and his team takes on that personality.
He's 3rd all-time in the state in victories. Can his team get one more and remain unbeaten and hoist another gold trophy? They got to get the football back. 3rd and long here for Columbus. Give it to Brunel. Well, he almost escaped. If he does escape and gets the first down, this game's over. But it forces the 3rd and final timeout, forces a punt coming by the Cardinals.
Final timeout of the half.
Now here's another thing, Scott Nelson, executing the punt in this weather.
Right. Or do you line up maybe in a regular formation, you just drop a guy back for a quick kick? I don't know if you're able to do that or not, right? If you practice that, but again, situational stuff where maybe you try that as opposed to sending your punt unit out and where they bring all 11 guys try and get the block. That's going to be interesting to see how each coach plays this.
Well, 22 right there. That's Braxton Knockreiner. He's the punter. But everything has to be perfect here in this weather. The snap, Knockreiner, I beg your pardon. Handle it cleanly. Just kick it. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy, right? Yep. You just want to get rid of the football.
Even if it goes in the end zone, you gain 12 yards defensively, so that's fine. You just want to make sure, first things first, the snap has to be there on the money. Then you got to catch the football, make sure you guys up front protect for you. The lot can happen in this play.
All that fundamental stuff that guys in August, they roll their eyes. Why are we doing this, Coach?
Right.
Well, now it's November. This is why.
Yep.
So Knockreiner to boot it. No one deep for CMH. Well, Butler's going to drop back, but not that deep. Brunell's got it. Going to run around and knocked out of bounds. So not a bad idea, right? Safe play. And if he gets the first down, the game's over. But
yeah, maybe on a drive field he's able to turn that corner for a little bit more. But again, you don't lose that much. If you punt it goes in the end zone, it's a 6-yard difference. So not a bad play call on their part. Well, at least I think it's a 6-yard difference. I have no idea where the ball's at.
Math is hard, Nelly.
Well, it's not so much math. I just can't see the field.
Yeah. That too.
Imagine being a parent right now with your kid out there playing and how nervous you must be, wanting so bad for them to make something happen on either side, right? This has been a great ball game, a great show by both teams that they put on here for us today.
So the ball, we've decided, is at the 30-yard line. Catholic Memorial, no timeouts left. Nathaniel in the pocket, on the move. Throws it, and Williams catches it, but that's only going to be a gain of about 2 or 3 when it's all said and done.
Safety net just delivering it short. Obviously a great catch. It's bobbling it around. It's tough to see as the ball's coming at you, but a really good job in the back end by Columbus, making sure everybody's covered in the back end. And they got pressure, right? They flushed him out of the pocket, didn't give him a chance to set up and throw.
4 yards on the little pass play. 2nd down and 6. They got Corey Smith out of the backfield. He's at the bottom in the slot, number 1. Nathaniel looking there. Instead, sideline toss, misfires. McCormick can't reel it in. Meanwhile, downfield, away from the play, we've got an injured Cardinal.
Yeah, he tried to break, slipped on his break as the receiver was trying to run in there. Looks like he must be cramping, which is surprising when you're in this weather, right?
That's Cotter. It's a quarterback.
Timeout.
Well, he's been labored a lot through today. He's taken some big shots, and that's huge for this team right now. You got one of your better defenders in the back end there. You're really going to need somebody to step in that hasn't played much, right, to fill in his spot, at least for a play.
Looks like he's cramping up. You see Aragon right in his grill, just trying to encourage him.
Yep.
His team now just trying to get to the finish line. They've won 2 state championships, 1990, 96. They were runners-up in 95. Again, they played this Catholic Memorial team in level 4 a year ago. They hung with them. Second half, they couldn't hang with them. In this game, Nelly, different story. Hanging with them from beginning to end.
Yeah, and they've capitalized on some unfortunate penalties from Catholic Memorial, and they took advantage of that, right? And that's what good teams do. That's what championship-style teams do.
Cotter's going off at least for a play here. And it's a big 3rd down and 7 play coming up for CMH.
Looks like Columbus is out in man coverage right now. It looks like they might bring 3 or 4 for pressure, but you got to make sure that you're secure in your man coverage.
Smith in motion. Nathaniel looking, buying time, throws it. And McCormick was running out of bounds the whole time. That's how bad it is. You can't tell where the white ends and the green begins.
Right, and really good job on the outside edge by the corner. I think it's number 4 for the Cardinals. number 14, now that I can see that. Right, Knockreiner does a nice job of forcing him out of bounds, and once you're out of bounds, you can't be the first guy to touch the football. So really heads up play using the boundary to your advantage. So this is your ball game right here. Catholic Memorial out of timeouts. They got to get a first down.
Smith. Knocked away. No flags. Columbus takes over. Tried to throw it downfield to their playmaker for the big strike, Nelly. And the big defensive play made by Jefferson Mowbray.
Really good job, I think. Nice play call by Catholic Memorial to begin with. The ball has got to go a long ways. He's on the left hash. He's thrown all the way across the field towards the right hash, outside edge towards the numbers. That's a really, really tough play. And I think Catholic Memorial is looking, hey, we should have had pass interference. I think when guys are sliding around that way, right, the officials are right there, two of them, neither one threw the flag.
Those are hugs of exhilaration, of exhaustion.
Right.
Frozen bodies.
A little bit of everything all rolled up into one.
Absolutely.
The emotions of this game, right? Catholic Memorial, storied program, championship program, year in and year out. Columbus came in, no quit on their end, right? They weren't backing down from Catholic Memorial. They were hungry based on last year. As Columbus calls a timeout, hey, we need to regroup for 42 seconds.
First of the half.
Andrew Selgrade, the motto in Columbus this year, Nelly, was stacking. Stack games, stack practices, never be satisfied with yesterday. That's easy to do. That's easy to look back when you're running the table, right? And you go 13-0 and say, oh, we're a pretty good football team. Look what we did last week. He was always, his team head on a swivel that was always pointed forward. And because of that, they were absolutely focused and prepared for this contest tonight.
Well, I think some of that, too, as a coach, right? Nobody expects us to win this game, boys. We're the underdog. Let's go out and prove it, right? And they did that tonight. And no timeouts on Catholic Memorial's part. I'm guessing this is just going to be a simple kneel down for Columbus, and this thing is history. But what a heck of a ball game by both teams here. There was no quit on either side. Two teams hungry for that gold ball, and Columbus did an outstanding job here today to seal the deal. What a great drive they did for that last one. That field goal that I didn't think was going to get there, just outstanding.
Cotter, you saw him hobble out there. Nelly shouldn't be out there, but I guarantee you, Nate, the senior, said, I need to take these final snaps. Right. I need to be on the football field when we win a state championship. And that moment is now. The Columbus Cardinals are Division IV state champions. They believe. And the stacking can finally end after stacking win number 14 on top here in Madison. Perfect end to a perfect season in Columbus.
Well, you got two teams here undefeated, as you mentioned, right? Just two tremendous football teams, two coaching staffs that put in a lot of time, a lot of energy into these young men, and the young man performed for them. And on both sides, both teams really laid it out on the field. I don't know that any guy's going to go home tonight with energy left in the system because they left it all on the field. The way the conditions changed from start to finish, again, just a tremendous performance by both squads. And only one comes out on top, right? Columbus today did enough to seal the deal. They took advantage of some inopportune penalties from Catholic Memorial in big-time ways, and that's the reason they won the football game here today.
Andrew Selgrade, in his second season at Columbus, came into the program, brought that St. Mary's Springs championship attitude, and got his guys to believe. Earlier this week, he said, I like our chances. I like the way my team is playing. I like the focus. He told his guys, I'm going to tell them before we take the field in Madison, it's one game, there's no tomorrow. the mentality is, guys, let's spill it. Empty the tank, Nelly.
Yeah, you got nothing else to wait for, right? Might as well get her done here today. And I think the atmosphere is great. Crowds were loud. You could hear that through our mics. Just a tremendous showing by both schools, by both communities, and really fun to watch these guys go at it.
And the handshakes continue on the snowy Madison turf.
A few snow angels down in the zone, guys sliding on the field, enjoying themselves a little bit.
That's fun. Colton Brunel got him all wired up down the football field. Colton, congratulations on this wild victory in the snow with the elements and against this football team. How did you guys survive all of this tonight?
Well, my team obviously played really good. Our line played the best game of their career, and having them playing really good really helped us get the first downs at the end of the game that we really needed, and we secure the win.
Hey, Colt, when you're running the football, right, you got a really good defense you're going against.
Yeah.
The front seven of those guys are physical, they're big. Your offensive line did a tremendous job.
They
for
for
sure
did. They played the best game of their career, like I said, and it was crazy because I got 4 yards every carry, and we were able to pull off this win.
Hey, Colt, your coach told us earlier this week, last year when you faced this Catholic Memorial team, you guys, he admitted, you were a little starstruck, and they showed that in the second half. What was the feeling going into this matchup?
Well, it was, 14-14 at halftime, and this year we wanted revenge, and we came out with a lot more energy in this half, and we played our butts off and got the win.
Played your butts off.
Yep.
You take your butt now, young man, and go get that trophy, all right?
All right, thank you.
That's Colton Brunel. What a night he had into the end zone and rushing for 186 yards into the end zone twice. Big time carries, picking up big first downs when they needed it, Nelly. And that kid, my goodness, all-state back. He's going to be back in 2023.
Right, what a luxury for your coaching staff to have him back now. You got to revamp your offensive line, but when you got a guy like that back there, just put a few guys up front that can engage again in a block, or just block somebody out of the way, right? Just get in their way and let him go to work. Tremendous performance tonight by him. When they needed it, right? Some tough yards.
And the elements, they came into play. Cardinals cashed in with Mother Nature assisting them. And Bill Young, third all-time in victories, can't get the victory here in Madison, but he's got an all-state back coming back in 2023, and a lot of other D1, future Division I college players. They'll regroup. They'll be in the mix again. They suffered their first loss of the season.
Yeah, they'll use this one as motivation in the offseason for sure.
And Columbus, 20 players, 20 starters back from the team a year ago. This time, they're not starstruck whatsoever. They are the stars here in Madison. Looking for Andrew Selgrade.
Right.
There he is. He knows that feeling as a player and an assistant coach at St. Mary Springs. Now he leaves his thumbprint, an indelible mark as the head coach at Columbus, a Division IV.
today. Again, 3 more tomorrow. Let's send it back up to the booth. Our player of the game in the Division 4 final. Bob?
Thank you, Shane. Yeah, 3 more tomorrow. We need a break, though. We need a rest. My goodness, what a day, what a night it was. Our player of the game brought to you by Rural Mutual. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. Colton Brunell, all-state running back, the big man on campus tonight.
Yeah, you see what he's been able to do through the course of the season and then today, right? Their workhorse and the guy that showed up just shy of 190 yards, close to 5 yards per carry against a really stout Catholic Memorial defense. Hats off to his offensive line, but that performance by Brunell today was outstanding.
They did snow angels. Now they're doing the jump around in the end zone after the team photo. Let it loose, Columbus. You're the state champion. So is Regis. So is Stratford. So is Aquinas. We've crowned 4 state champs. 3 to go tomorrow. Join us for the kickoff of Division 3 tomorrow morning to get it all started right here on Valley Sports Wisconsin. For Scott Nelson and our entire crew, Bob Brainerd saying so long and good night, Wisconsin.